Imagine walking down the street and then a strong odor hits you. It's a very gross scent, almost like rotting meat. A dog starts running around and is like going at this trash can until it knocks it over. When you look closer, it looks like just a bunch of rotten fruit and fish, but deep down in the middle of all those trash bags is a human torso.
Ew.
Yep. Hello, I am the Grin, and joining me tonight is the lovely
Amari.
Welcome to our podcast, a place where we do not shy away from the gruesome details, where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. Listener discretion is advised, so get yourself in the right space of mind and let's talk about dark shit. You know what? Well, I'm interrupting myself. Going back to what you said last time about the whole frame of mind and space of mind,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay attention to that until I went back and re-listened to our episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
You
was
never
like,
paid
hey, do we actually like say it like that?
Yeah.
I've never paid attention to that. I've never caught that.
Yeah, because I know I always say frame, and then I'm like, oh, you say space.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
I was like, I didn't know that we do that.
They both fit.
They do. But tonight's episode, you guys,
Are we singing?
I was gonna say a warning. I'm like tuning into this warning that I'm gonna give.
I like that. Okay.
You guys, this one's gonna be a bit gruesome. It's definitely don't listen to this if you're eating. That's number one. Because when I first saw this episode or this case, like a documentary on it, it really grossed me out. And then I read on it, I did more research, and yes, I don't understand how people can do mukbangs and do these kind of like true crime things. This is an episode that would really gross me out if I were to be eating with you and then talking about it. But
See, that doesn't bother me.
really?
Yeah, no. The only thing that bothers me, not even seeing, mutilated bodies or anything, that doesn't bother me, or mutilated parts or open surgery or anything. That doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me is when there used to be, I forgot the name of the show, but they would show videos of when people would, right in the moment, break their leg, or their bone would immediately like crack and then push through the skin. The moment it happens, that's what irks me.
Really?
Yes. The afterwards, I'm weirdly okay with it. It's the moment it happens and it's on film. Nope.
I feel like we've already had this conversation where open wounds, corpses, things like that, they don't gross me out. What gets me, not even what you just said, like a bone sticking out, that doesn't get me.
No, it's the moment. It's
Or like
not
when
the
it breaks,
bone.
like when you hear it.
Yes, it's there. That's what it is. I think it's the hearing of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me, and I've already had this discussion with you, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Is it animals?
Animals. I don't understand why animals get to me, but human beings, when I'm watching like documentaries or like looking up photos sometimes, because I want to know what the crime scene was, and you see things right there, like really graphic things, it doesn't really get to me.
You don't even have pets. It's really weird.
I know.
Huh.
You know what? Technically, I grew up with chickens, so. But I grew up watching them getting killed and eating them for dinner, so I don't know what that says about me. But that's actually a pretty fitting introduction because tonight's episode is called The Cook.
Go.
This is not staged.
No.
So, you guys, tonight we're going to be talking about Emilia Basil. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Her last name is, she is Lebanese. But we are actually not going to Lebanon. We're going to go to Buenos Aires, Argentina. So Emilia was born in 1911, and not much is known about her upbringing. We skip all the way until she is 40 years old. And that's where we find out that she leaves her home country to come to, or to go to Argentina for reasons we don't know. Her family and her, they just decided to migrate. When she arrived there, she met Dora Ramos, who would become her landlord. Dora helped Emilia with her Spanish, and in return, Emilia would help her with the cleaning and the cooking around the complex that they lived. What Dora did basically is offered her housing, and that was like their small little exchange. She later claimed that she didn't do it because of that reason, that she wanted to learn Spanish, but because she wanted to win this woman's trust, since she felt that in the future she might depend on her. Dora was someone who was used to housing immigrants and helping them out. However, she always asked those she helped to prepare her food from their native land because she was always craving food from other
She was
places.
curious.
Yeah, she was just
Okay.
curious, a curious woman. And Emilia's Lebanese dishes would end up becoming one of her top favorites. Emilia would later find a job at a butcher's market and would get herself involved with a string of romances. She didn't wait. She got the job and things got pretty steamy at work, always with married men, oddly enough. When Dora would ask her about this, she would just say, "There's not a lot to choose from."
From her work?
Yeah.
She's from her work.
10 years later, and then she would end up meeting a man named Felipe Coronel Rueda, a Peruvian man who was 13 years younger than her. But he was smitten by her. She wasn't interested in him, however, but would end up marrying him because the thought of, this is in quotes, the thought of staying alone and always sleeping with men that were useless was less attractive, end quote.
That's her fault. She's the one sleeping with married men.
Not in her mind. That's not her logic.
So were there no single men at that place that she was working at?
I mean, I think there were because Felipe was a single man. So
And he
I
was
don't
the
know.
only one.
I
No.
highly doubt that. I don't know what was her thought process behind this, but yeah, I don't know if just married men turned her on.
Yeah, maybe it was like a game to her. Like, oh, I can catch him
Yeah,
because he's married.
maybe it could be. I don't know. After they married, they moved to an apartment in Ngaray Street, number 2200. And they opened a restaurant which they named Yamile, which I don't know what that stands for. It might be some kind of just maybe a name or something translated from like Peruvian Spanish
Or Lebanese.
or Lebanese. That is
There's
very
so many,
true.
or Argentina.
Or Argentinian.
Argentinian?
Argentinian.
Yeah.
It's either Argentinian or Argentine.
What?
I always say Argentinian. I feel like that's more correct.
Yeah, I've never heard of Argentine.
Some people
For
actually
people?
say, yes, some people say Argentine. But yeah, the landlord there was an Italian man named Jose Petrella. Excuse me for my disgusting Italian accent.
You know, one thing I have to add real quick.
Yeah.
This is Buenos Aires.
This is Buenos Aires.
There are so many different types of backgrounds.
There is.
Is it called
There
backgrounds?
is. Actually, if you go to Argentina, this is like, we're like taking a small little break from the case, but there's actually a small town in Argentina where it's just all Germans. It's a
Oh.
German town.
I didn't know that Argentina has that kind of different.
Well, you guys are going to get a little quick history lesson from the grid. At the end of World War II, a lot of Nazis and a lot of
I've heard of that.
yeah, a lot of people who were, I guess, like, what do you call it? Like the villains of
They ran away, right?
yeah, most of the Nazi soldiers ran to Argentina,
I did hear
escaped there. Well, not just Argentina, actually. I'm going to correct myself, to South America. Because there's like a whole, I saw this other documentary where there was like a whole village in, I believe it was Peru. It was like a whole village of them. I might do a case on that because that one was actually kind of dark. So let me know what you guys think. I will probably do that. Now back to the landlord. He is Italian. His name is Jose Petrella. He was described by the community as being a bitter, grim, spoiled old man who had no one. So, not the coolest kid on the block. He always stuck to himself and would always spend his time or his spare time in his room, just locked himself there. Every time he would leave the complex, he would never take long since he hated being out and around people. However, when Felipe and Emilia moved, he started growing feelings for Emilia. He started to feel attracted to her. He liked that she was a confident, strong willed woman. She seemed not to be afraid of anything, nor did she care what people thought about her. And he found that very, very attracting.
Well, that's because that's how he is. Like, he doesn't care what anybody thinks of him.
Yeah, I didn't make those connections. Emilia would end up having three daughters to whom everyone believed were not Felipe's because everybody knew that she was a woman who liked to go around and, I was going to say, get steamy with other people.
Gallivanting.
Yes, there you go.
It's a cute word, gallivanting.
She would always be in charge of cleaning the building, cooking for the restaurant, and caring for her kids and her husband. She would later grow detached from her family and didn't care for them. She claimed to have been bored from her daily routine, and that's when the thought of cheating on her husband with the landlord crossed her mind because she knew that he was interested in her, but she never thought of cheating on her husband until that moment when she was just tired of her daily life.
She never thought about cheating on him, but yet there's been speculation that the kids are not even all her husband's.
But that is also just speculation.
That is true.
That is also just speculation.
Just talk.
We didn't get concrete proof that these girls are not his daughters.
I want pictures.
I want pictures. I will provide those pictures on Sunday on Instagram, so make sure you're following us. The business of the restaurant wasn't a very successful one, but Felipe didn't care. Emilia, however, always knew that it would be a failure, like her husband and her kids.
Damn.
Yeah, this woman had a very negative view
How old
on.
is she?
She's in her. Oh wait, so she was in her 40s when we started. She's like in her 60s.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, if she's young thinking like this, like, oh my God, you're so
No.
negative.
No, she's a very negative person. She just had a negative view on life.
Jeez.
Yeah. This meant that they didn't make enough for bills, but Emilia told Felipe that she would talk to Jose about the payments. That's when she would begin her affair with the landlord. To Emilia, this was a huge win since this fixed her boredom. Jose would stop asking them for money, and this helped her understand that despite her age, she could still have lovers.
This woman.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I can still get it.
I still got it.
I'll leave that in.
No.
They would meet up 2 times a month and it would always be after midnight when her husband was dead asleep. This would go on for months until Jose decided that this wasn't enough for him. He wanted more from her. When she ignored this request, he would start harassing her in her restaurant and would bang on her windows at her complex apartment and ask for help. This was him telling her now, like, I want you now.
Oh, like
Yeah.
that. Oh.
Yeah. However, this irritated Emilia, and she grew to despise Jose more than her own husband.
Yeah, because it was on her terms.
Yeah. It's either her terms or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And she would let him know, but he would threaten her, or he would eventually threaten her that he was going to go and tell her husband on her. And she knew that if her husband were to find out, she couldn't turn to Jose anymore because she refused him and would basically be homeless. She didn't care for her family, however, but she felt like she had invested too many years in them. So she didn't want to lose them. That was her other logic. She wasted her good years on her family.
So you might as well stick around because not even okay, it's not even just her husband, it's her family. She wasted years on her family.
She wasted years on her family. She wasted her good years on her family.
That is horrible. Those are kids. Like I've heard it when people say that about their spouses, but those babies came out of you. I wasted my years on you. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're
Yeah.
a horrible person.
She is a very, I was gonna say very like strong opinionated woman, but no, she's a horrible human being.
No,
She
yeah.
is horrible. And I don't know where she got this negativity on life because we don't know anything about her past. But yeah, she's just negative Nancy.
Jeez.
Jose ended up setting up a date for them, to which Emilia would not go. Infuriated by this, Jose went over and banged on her window and that night, which awoke her, but thankfully for her, not her family. Realizing she had no choice, she obeyed and went through with their quote unquote date or date night.
Obeyed.
Mhm.
Ew, I don't like that.
Yeah. This act actually infuriated her. Like she is starting to grow more and more hate towards this man.
So she had hate sex.
Yep, she had rage sex. She set up another date for them. She did this herself. That night, she went to his apartment, but with a cord in her hand.
A what?
A cord.
A cord?
Hmm. I'll tell you what this cord is going to be used for. And no, it's not what you guys were thinking. So get your dirty thoughts out of the way.
I was thinking electrical cord.
Yeah, electrical cord. And she actually used the cord to strangle him on March 24th, 1973. After killing him, she pushed him under his bed and she just went back to her apartment and went to sleep.
That's it. She just kills him, pushes him under the bed, and just that's it.
Yeah, just go back and get your snooze on. The next day, however, she was happy. She was very, very happy that one of her issues was solved. But now she had another problem. The body was that she had left upstairs. She thought about like how can I dispose of this? There's a body up there. There's gonna be an odor going around soon, so she needed to think quick on her feet. She thought about all the different possibilities that she could take and felt like the only solution was to put her skills of working at the butcher's market to use. And she also wanted to put her culinary skills to use. She decided that she would go and cut the corpse into pieces and then cook it. And then serve her fine dishes to her customers at her restaurant.
See, I never understood the murderers who do that. Like you are, it's not a right term. You're choosing cannibalism to people you're serving your food to. You're right? Is that the term? You're feeding them humans. What makes you do that? What makes you think that's okay? Or I don't know. I want to know what's the thought process of people who do that. Like there's been other cases where they'll
Absolutely. Like the case that I covered of the cannibal in Ayotzinapa, the one about the man from Mexico City who would go out and give free meat.
Yeah. And there was
neighbors.
another case I heard too in the States where I believe it was a man who would kill people and then make burgers
Yes,
out of them
I heard of that one.
and sell it. Like, why? I don't know. It's not okay with me thinking of like serve it to the dogs or anything, but why serve it to people?
The strange thing, because I'm not very familiar. Did the guy with the burgers, did he consume the meat too?
I don't recall. I heard this one years ago.
Me too.
So I don't recall,
So
but
I don't remember.
think he sold the burgers from one of those like those little trucks.
The food trucks?
Yeah, food truck.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember the Mexico one that I covered, he would cannibalize the women, but he would also go out and, I guess, create cannibals because he would go out and
Yeah.
hand out the meat to his neighbors and like just strangers, friends, family, which is unsettling. But the strange thing here is this woman, spoiler alert into the what I'm going to get to, but she didn't cannibalize the man. She would go on to feed the meat to customers, but she herself didn't eat the meat.
See, what is the thought process of doing that? Like, these are evil people, so their thoughts are not going to be correct in any way, but
Yeah,
still, like, why serve it to people?
I
Is it because
don't
you hate
know.
people and you want to
It
serve it
could be
just
her negative view, but in this case, she just wanted a solution, an easy way out. First of all, not to get caught and dispose of her crime.
I guess. No, I don't guess. No, this is just still, it's
It's,
still bad.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let us know
Continue.
what you guys think.
Yeah.
She settled on going through with this plan the next day when no one was around. So on March 25th, 1973, at 10 a.m., Emilia went to Jose's room. In her hand was a collection of knives. What she did is she began to butcher him. After police interrogated her about the precision of the cuts, because this woman was a very skilled butcher, she claimed that, in quote, he was no different from a pig or a sheep, end quote.
How did the police find out it was her?
We're going to get to
Oh, okay.
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
did you skip that part?
No, we're going to get to that. After separating every limb, she took them to the kitchen and began preparing her dishes. Parts were used to make empanadas, others would be used to make her Lebanese dishes that Dora liked. She made sure to add lots of condiments since she didn't know what the taste of the human flesh would have. As for the torso and the head, she claimed, in quote, you can't do anything with that. And that's why, well, end quote. And that's why she would go on to just dump it in the trash.
She had a reason for it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
psycho.
And she would masquerade like the head and the torso with like other rubbish in the kitchen, for example, like rotten fruits and vegetables and things like that. And she thought that this would also mask the scent. The head, she actually did try to do something with it. Like I said, you guys, this is getting kind of gruesome and graphic. But she started to fry it, but then she thought this just looked weird. There's nothing really I can do with this. And the hair and the eyeballs were getting in the way. So she just threw it out entirely.
Hmm.
That afternoon, Jose's estranged brother visits him. But Emilia claims that he left and she hadn't seen him in a long time. Like a huge, like, I did not see this coming. Like, what the fuck? Like, this man hasn't had contact with his brother. And literally, the day that she starts to get rid of his corpse, his brother is like,
Wait, was she at his house? Is that how
yeah, because he's the landlord of the apartment complex.
the brother?
Who are you talking about? The brother?
Estranged brother.
Yeah, the estranged brother is coming over to the apartment building
And
to
she was
visit.
in his apartment?
No. The kitchen, the restaurant is under.
Oh, so he went to the kitchen.
Yes,
Oh, got it. Okay.
yes. Because the whole building is just one. And Jose was the owner of the complex.
Okay.
And she hadn't seen him in a long time. That night, she fed her family pasta because she wanted to do an or commit an act of kindness and not give them human meat to eat.
She wanted to be kind.
Yes.
She even had to say that. Like, I wanted to commit an act of kindness so I didn't feed my family human meat.
Yeah.
She had to say that. Are you...
But the stench soon ran through the whole neighborhood. And that's when she realized she made a big mistake. The trash men didn't pick up trash that day that she went out and put it out. She thought of the wrong day. And they also don't pick up trash that's too heavy. So when the odor was like floating around and people started to complain, someone decided, you know what, this is enough. And they called the police. And when I read this, because I researched this case before our trip to Italy, and I was like, that's strange, like trash men, like how do they do it? And now I get an idea of like how they
Italy.
do it in other countries. Because in Italy, they
Scavengers.
had scavengers that would go
Mhm.
with their little wagons and pick up trash. And it never occurred to me that they probably didn't pick up like something that's pretty heavy.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what their policies are on that, but yeah.
Thank
So
you,
now,
Italy. We learned something.
right? We learned something. So what happened here is the police found the human torso and they took it to, oh gosh, I forgot to put in the word. They took it to basically investigate who this torso belonged to. What's the word?
Investigate?
No, not investigate.
Evidence?
Yeah, they took it in as evidence. They took it into, I forgot what the word is for those people who.
Forensics?
Thank you.
Okay.
They took the torso that they found to forensics and decided to, or try to identify who this body part belonged to. But that day, Jose's brother filed a missing persons report because he didn't believe a thing out of Emilia's mouth because he knew his brother. He knew this man doesn't like people. And like, who would he go visit? And police slowly connected the dots there because Jose lived near where this
The stench.
torso was found. After doing a bit of research at the apartment and finding nothing, they went to the restaurant's kitchen where they found the head because the torso and the head weren't together, apparently.
And she left it in the kitchen?
She left it in the kitchen. She was going to take it out later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And big mistake there. They come across the head. There, they also saw a bunch of dishes just being served to people coming in and out of this restaurant.
So they connected it?
Stomachs immediately turned because they saw the condition of this head and how it was fried. So it seemed like somebody was attempting to either cook it or doing something with it, but stomachs were turned. Emilia first denied being involved, but then she broke down and confessed to everything. But she did this with no emotion, no regret, no care. She confessed to everything in detail. And this woman even said to the judge while she was being sentenced that I did it, in quotes, and I would do it again and again, end quote.
Because he told her what to do and that he wants to be with her?
Because he basically was trying to control her and she refused to be controlled. At first, her lawyers tried to argue self defense and they immediately had her change her story, but this didn't work.
She's gonna hate prison.
Yeah. She was charged with murder and sentenced to, get this, 10 years in
What?
prison.
Why?
They sentenced her only to 10 years. Because I guess, so here's the thing with Argentina, because this is the second case where I come across where people are only getting like a minimal case to something that's so horrific. I don't get it. I don't know if it's because of her age or because of the number of victims, but I would argue that she had multiple victims because she fed human flesh to a bunch of customers going in and out of her restaurant.
That's true. Those people are victims.
So I don't get it. I don't know what their thought process was, but this woman got 10 years in prison. I'll let you guys sit on that. And then we go to November of 1979. After only 6 years in prison, Emilia Basil was freed.
Wait, I thought you were gonna say she died, and I was like, God damn it. She's
No,
free?
she is freed. The police that accompanied her to the exit asked if she had somewhere to go. To which she turned to him and said, in quotes, "Do you really care? Because I don't." End quote.
And that's the last they've ever seen of her, or heard of her.
Yes. And then, if you're curious, the building where her restaurant once stood is still up. There's obviously not a restaurant in there, but yes, that place is still up.
So what happened to her family?
Nobody knows what happened to her family. They just lost contact with her. Is the last thing I read. So, what happened to her? We don't know. You guys can make your own conclusions. In my mind, I just picture this woman
Oh, she's dead.
running off. Maybe? Or just running off with another married man.
Because, like, she would have been out when she was, like, almost 70, right?
Well, in her 60s, she only served 6 years.
Yeah, so she's probably would have been 70.
Close, yeah.
It's been a long time since that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been, like, over.
It's still like, what the hell? This woman, again, killed this man, dismembered him, and fed people human meat, which she refused to like eat or consume herself. And she, from the love of her heart, refused to feed it to her own family.
I wonder where she went afterwards.
I wonder too.
I wonder what her life was like.
I wonder too. But not much is known of her after she left prison. All we know is that she was sentenced to 10 and served 6. After stating to the judge that she basically didn't care and she would do it again.
Argentina's nice. Well, I mean, like, they're too kind. That's what they're too kind.
Maybe.
They're probably the type of people who, like, there's positive in this person. Like, let's see the half cup full, or is it what is it? How's that term go?
The what?
The term for the cup is not half empty, it's half full. There you go.
Oh.
They see, like, the goodness in everybody. So that's why they're like, hey, let's not give her 10 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was another country, I forgot which country was it that they actually, if you show signs of regret and you actually like are showing signs that you're changing while in prison, they'll give you a second chance and release you early.
Even though before when you were in court, you said you didn't care?
Yeah.
And I'll do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez.
I don't know. Cases like that kind of like hit my noggin, and I'm like, I don't know what's going through their heads in this place. Like, yeah, you're right. Argentina seems like a great place.
For murderers. It's not. That's not what I mean, Argentina. I'm sorry.
We're sorry. I know we have an Argentinian listener. I saw you when we did our little data thing. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think. 6 years, really? I personally think there was no justice, but honestly, thinking about it, a lot of the cases I do, there's literally no justice.
Nope.
No. But yeah, that was the case of the cook, aka Emilia Basil, who committed a crime, went to prison, and then left, refusing to be controlled.
Bitch.
Well, let us know what you guys think. And as always, remember to be well.
Be safe.
And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.